T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Shout out to Kop-Ish.
Shout out to Kopish, guys.
All the good work
the
up.
two legends, Emil Heskey, Howard Gill. Can't get much better than that guy. Yeah. You know what to do now. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm with legends, guys.
Kop-Ish.
Yo, what's going on, peeps? Welcome to Kopish. Welcome to the match reaction / player rating. And Liverpool have just lost to Arsenal by 3-1. Shocking from a few individuals who are going to get absolutely torn apart by me in the player ratings, but it is what it is. We let Arsenal back in the title race. Liverpool are no longer in the driver's seat. And yeah, Vince's viewpoint, facts, we absolutely gifted them the win. Absolutely gifted them the win. They're not a better team than us, even remotely, and we just gave them the win, especially when we were in the ascendancy at 1-1 in the second half. It's a joke, innit? Our two best players, arguably, are the reason we lost, in my opinion. Again, normally I'm somebody who doesn't like to point the fingers at individuals, and I can understand if people are going to say they don't want to do that. I get that. But for as average as a lot of our players were today, we were still fully in the game. And if those two don't do that, then, you know, I think Ibri was unbelievably skanked with his red card. Even more so shown by the fact that Gabriel, who's also on a yellow card, did something even worse about 3 or 4 minutes later. No punishment. But hey-ho, this is what it is, isn't it? And I think if Ibri's playing, they don't score that third goal. Obviously, that was, you know, the whole game was opened up at that point. But yeah, it's what it is. We probably all of us deep down knew that City are going to win the league, but I've remained as positive as possible, and I do have faith in the team. I still have faith in the team. I don't think you can just write us off because of one defeat. It's only our second defeat all season, and it's the only other hard game we have to play in terms of like a game that was a 50-50, so to speak, going into it. Can we lose other games? Of course we can. But I believe this was the only game that was a 50-50 going into it, as well as a game against City at Anfield to come. All the other teams, we should go into the game favourite and we should win the game. Obviously, that's not how life works, but we'll see in it. But it's Man City's to lose now. It's Man City's to lose now. So there you go. Big up everyone who's jumping in. Smash the like button on your way in, people. I don't even care if you're a hater. Just smash the like button in it. And there it is. Hit up a couple of these supers before we get into it. Cal will be joining in a minute. Jamrock, every close title race we have been in, we have drawn some games and lost some games where we could extend the lead. And we are like how we messed up. How we did mess up. I get where you're coming from, Jamrock. I get where you're coming from. We've been pretty impervious in a few of our other title races. Do you know what I mean? Yes, them draws are annoying and stuff. I get it. But I don't even want to talk about other seasons and in the past and all that stuff. Now is now. Different team. Half of these players ain't even the players that won the league and all that. So let's not do the talking about what we did before. Pete, players didn't show fight. They didn't want it. Our record versus the top 6 this season is embarrassing. We've won 1 game versus the top 6. And we have the least points out of the big 6 when they've all played each other. I hear that. John says, you know what makes Klopp great? He handles ups and downs like a true man. I wouldn't want to be in the trenches with some of this fan base. Very good point, John. Very good point. I'm already seeing people blaming Klopp and shouting and screaming and doing all the only one title is pathetic and all that. Look, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, yeah, but leave me out because I'm probably going to say something rude. And I don't want to be rude and I don't want us to start arguing amongst ourselves because it's weird to start doing that as a fan base. You win together, you lose together, innit? But yeah, some of you have got to calm down. Like, you really have to calm down. Like, it's crazy. Like, come on, man, calm down. Let's not turn into Arsenal. Don't we always laugh at them about how reactionary they are and how they're always crying and all that they go over the top. And then we lose 1 game. That still keeps us ahead of the team we lost to. And then everyone's going to start doing the over. If you think Man City's in the driving seat, I agree with you. That's completely fine. But to start doing the, we've bottled it, we're done, these men ain't good enough and all that stuff. Like, how can you be good enough tomorrow? How can you have been good enough yesterday, but not good enough tomorrow? Like, I find that extremely over the top, people. Come on, man. Like, let's just calm the fuck down, man. Jamrock, how are we not in the driver's seat? Again, I'm lost. Hold on. How are we not in the driver's seat? I think what you mean there, Jamrock, is how have we not taken advantage? I think that's what you mean. Some 41 defeats have never been our downfall. It is always the draws. Yeah, that is very true. That is very true. Let Arsenal have this win, innit? Yeah, fair dues, bro. I was just a little bit confused by what you meant. How we not in the driver's seat, I think is what you meant. Yeah, I mean, we're in the driver's seat until we played today. Or do you mean how we not in the driver's seat as in we are still in the driver's seat? I'm not sure which one you meant. Meant to say that. We're not in the driver's seat though, bro, because if Man City win both their games in hand, they're above us. So, yeah, they're not ahead of us. So we're not in the driver's seat anymore. You can only be in the driver's seat if it's in your hands. It's no longer in our hands. So yeah. Arsenal are not taking any points off City, by the way. If anybody's thinking that there's a possibility that that's where City will drop more points. Oh, Jammer, you did mean we are still in the driver's seat. No, we're not, bro. We're not. You can only be in the driver's seat if it's in your hands. It's not in our hands anymore. If City win their games in hand, even though they have to win those games in hand, they've got a point ahead of us. So they can come to Anfield and get a draw and win the league. So it's not in our hands. Yes, having the home advantage is what it is a slight advantage. So I get it from that point of view, but it's not in our hands. It's only in our hands if we're in the lead going into the City game, because what that means is it can allow you during that game to have 2 outcomes that keep you in the driver's seat. We're going to go into that game now with only 1 outcome to possibly keep us in the title race even. Who knows what's going to happen between now and then? We might drop more points. This could demoralize us. I don't know. We don't know. We can't read the future. But City will be top in that Anfield game. I guarantee you. Going into that Anfield game, City will be top. I mean, let me actually even go and look at the fixtures here and see when it is that we actually play them, because I've forgotten. I think it's in March, right? So we play Man City on the 9th of March. We've got Luton, Brentford, Burnley and Forest in the league in between there. All teams scrapping for their lives, by the way. So even though we should definitely win those games, I'm seeing Luton and Forest play really good. Brentford is away. That is always a difficult game. Plus, we've got a cup final in there that could take a bit of energy out of the boys. Man City, on the other hand, have got between now and when they play us. They have Brentford tomorrow. Then they have Everton at home. That's a guaranteed 3 points. Then they have Chelsea at home. That's an absolute guaranteed 3 points. Then they have Brentford at home. That's an absolute guaranteed 3 points. Then they have Bournemouth away and Luton away. Let's be honest. And then they have Man United at home. Guys, going into that Liverpool game, Man City will 1,000% be top of the league. Man United, Luton, Bournemouth, Brentford, Chelsea, or Everton are not taking any points off City. So they will go into that. They will definitely go into that game. We needed to be ahead. We needed to be ahead. We had to. Going into that game, we had to be ahead. H says, one of them games, just regroup our best players with the blunders. Klopp tactically poor to start the game. City the favourites, but still in our hands. I disagree with the still in our hands bit, bro. But yeah, you're right. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep going. The red guy, Klopp, got things wrong, but aim anger at the team. I agree with that as well. Soren, big up yourself, bro. Very generous super chat. Appreciate that, man. Big up yourself. Says, big up. Shocking performance. We needed Bradley, Soboslai, and Endo so we could push McAllister to the left to create a better balance. We'll be back in the race next week. You'll never walk alone. Yeah, big up, bro. I agree with you that we definitely... It's crazy, innit? What's annoying me more than anything is every time we played Arsenal, we've had players missing. And obviously, I know they had a few players missing as well, but I don't really care about them. I'm just talking about from our point of view. It's really annoying that we haven't played Arsenal this season with a full-strength team. It's just really annoying, man. Like, when you're playing up against the big teams, man, you want your full team out there, man. It's just jarring. Godson says you'll never walk alone. The Liverpool way is always on the edge of your seat. Very true, bro. Very true. Yeah. Like I said, Man City the favourites. That goes without saying, people. Like, there's no two ways about it. They are in the driver's seat. But we will see in it. We will see. Let me bring up the player ratings now. We'll be getting into that as soon as Cal gets here. How's everyone feeling other than that, though? Ask a silly question, get a silly answer, eh? Here's the thing as well, because I can see a couple of people saying, obviously, the game at Anfield, you know, is an equalizer or an advantage to us. I get that. But what are the guarantees that we're even going to go into that game neck and neck with them? We just don't know, do we? We have no idea. Like, we genuinely don't know. So it's just one of them things. Like I said, I'm looking at their Man City fixtures and they're going to blitz all of these teams. They've got to play Brentford twice, home and away. Possibly Brentford could take something out of the game. Possibly, but I very much doubt it. If Man City beat Brentford tomorrow, then it's a wrap, because Man City will beat Brentford at their ground. Let's not look at last season as an example. Like, that's never happening again. Plus, Man City had already won the league when they lost the second time. Everton at home. Anyone got any hope Chelsea can do anything after what we just did to them? I mean, come on, people. Bournemouth away. I mean, Bournemouth they're not an easy game. Man City won't struggle there, though. They won't. They won't blitz them, but they won't struggle. And then Man United at home. Yeah. If that was at Old Trafford, possibly, maybe. But at the Etihad, come on, man. Let's keep it a buck. Man United ain't doing shit. They're not doing shit. I think the difficult games for Man City will be after they play us. So after they play us, they have Brighton away, they have Arsenal at home, they have Villa at home, and they have Tottenham away. That's 4 of their next 7 games up until April the 20th when they play Tottenham. That will be where Man City could possibly drop some points. It will be in and around there. But before the Liverpool game, they're 100,000% be top of the league by the time we play them. They're not dropping any points before we play them in the league. So, you know what I mean? And now we have to actually talk about Arsenal, because Arsenal are only 2 points behind us. If we drop any points now, Arsenal will overtake us. So it ain't even just Man City we have to look at now. Let's not go too far left. We have, in fact, what are Arsenal's fixtures? Because Arsenal are right in this now. That's what today's win did. It shut up everybody who said Arsenal aren't in the title race. So Arsenal's next run of games is West Ham away. Burnley away, they'll blitz that. Newcastle at home, they'll win that. Sheffield United away, they'll blitz that. Brentford at home, they'll win that. And then Chelsea at home and Man City away. They'll beat Chelsea. They'll lose the Man City one. So there's only one defeat I can really see in Arsenal's next maybe 7 or 8 games. If you was asking me to put my money down, Newcastle away aren't good. Arsenal will definitely beat them. Chelsea, don't even get me started. There's no point even remotely thinking Chelsea will get anything out of that game. So yeah, we have to take Arsenal extremely serious now. Arsenal are banging this title race. But what we're going to do, eh? Big up John says, Drift, our fixtures look really good. Beware the PTSD. I don't know, John. I don't know. Let me go back and have a look at what ours are again. What are ours again? So it's Luton. Oh, no, that game's been postponed. I'm not sure. So it's Burnley at home. Then it's Brentford away, which for us is tricky because Brentford are strong. And then it's Forest away. You never know. But we obviously should definitely win that. And then City come to town. And the crazy thing is, after City, guys, here's what's mad. Let's say we do beat City. Following game's a Merseyside derby. Then we got Brighton. And then we got an away trip to Old Trafford. Sandwiched in between Sheffield United at home. We should beat Sheffield United at home. But that away trip, this is what I'm saying. Man United at home, you never know. Do you get what I mean? You never know. If Man City had to go to Old Trafford, then that'd be a little bit more. Oh, okay, interesting. The fact that they've got to go to the Etihad means that's a smoked 3 points. But we've got to go to Old Trafford. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna just take one game at a time. I just want to take one game at a time, man. Big up Ram. You know what, Ram? Let me send you that link for real, bro. Let's get you in. But big up yourself, John, as always, bro. Calms. This game was like last season. Jurgen, man. JG and LD. I'm not sure. You're saying it was on fire. Luis Diaz. Joe Gomez and Luis Diaz. Yeah. They did play well today, those two. They did. Sammy Boy Jr., for anyone saying it is in our hands, when was the last time we beat City in the league?
2019.
By the time we play City, we will be 1 point behind. Our fixtures are all winnable. So if we win versus them at home, we'll be 2 points ahead. Guys, I understand the optimism about thinking that we're going to beat City at home, but let's keep it a buck. We all know that that's an extremely 50-50 game. And it ain't a game that we can just so we'll win that one and then like, we just lost Arsenal. We could easily lose to Man City. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't go along this premise that we're just gonna beat them because we've got them at home. That's not. Mr. Tibbs, the home draws against Arsenal and Man United basically put us in a bad spot. Yeah, I definitely think that draw with Man United is just properly going to come back and bite because it was at home. What, can you hear me, guys? Is there something wrong with my...
It's sort of the levels are going up and down.
Oh, is it? What?
No,
Is that?
No, try again.
One.
Yeah, so right now it's fluctuating a bit.
Oh, I don't know what's going on then. That's a bit mad. I haven't even touched anything or anything.
People are saying it's
Yeah.
me now. Is mine?
No, I think you're all right. Hold on, let me mute. If I mute my,
Testing.
I can hear you, and then mute you. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. I don't. Yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Is something covering your mic or?
No. Oh, the people are saying my mic started getting weird when you came back, but that's weird because you was always there anyway. I don't know what's going on.
So everything's fine now, apparently.
Right, player ratings. Let's just get this out of the way, and it is what it is. I just ripped the band-aid off. Ali's getting a 3 from me. And he's lucky to get a 3 out of me.
He's getting a 1 from me.
I'm not gonna argue with you there, bro.
Like 2 catastrophic mistakes. That's a 1 from me.
Yeah, I ain't gonna argue with that. Joey.
Gomez. I thought Joey was good today, if I'm going to be honest. I'll give him a 7. Can't think of anything he did wrong.
Where should we round up on 8 or 7.5 then? Because I'm giving him an 8.5. I thought it was brilliant today, to be honest. I don't think he did
7.5.
I think Joey did everything that was asked of him. And we looked a lot more dodgy when he came off as well. Ibu. I ain't blaming him for the sending off because I wasn't sending off.
Ibu was our best centre back today. I know people are gonna be annoyed with me saying this. It was never a sending off when he was playing. Anytime he went into 50-50s and stuff, I can't remember him losing any.
Letting the ball bounce a few times was annoying me, but at least he won it on the second thing. But here's the thing, bro. You're taught as a school kid to never let the ball bounce. Like literally, it's one of the first lessons you learn. Do not let the ball bounce, because as soon as the ball bounces, you don't have a clue where it will bounce, how high it will bounce. You've given the opponent the opportunity to close you down, etc., etc. It's like 101 schoolboy stuff.
I know. I hear that.
Both of our centre backs kept letting it happen today. I don't know why, because they normally clean up with those type of
things. I hear everything you're saying, but again, at the same time, the game has changed, and centre backs prefer to just play, like let the ball bounce, maybe take a touch, and then play on from there. As back in the day, bro, centre backs didn't even really play out from the back. He was long ball to the striker, get the knockdown. So I get what you mean. You don't let the ball bounce. Usually, I agree with that, but there were times there where I can I can understand it because they're in control of the situation.
They were.
Again, I know everyone's going to go crazy at me for this. I can't, off the top of my head, think of much Ibu did wrong, and I can think of a lot that he did right. I'm going to go 7.5 for Ibu.
I kind of agree with that. I don't think Ibu really... He made a lot of good blocks today, and he actually tackled quite well. And it ain't his fault he got sent off, because both yellow cards were disgusting.
Yeah,
I'm confused. I'm out. The fact that Gabriel did a 10 times worse foul straight after and didn't get anything, and then Nunes is booked for remonstrating, nowhere near as bad as Odegaard remonstrated in the first half when Odegaard wasn't given anything. It's like, yeah, PGOML, whatever, I don't really care. Suck out. You lot are scandalous. The way you lot are moving is just a joke. It's just a joke. I'm sorry. Fuck all of you, man. Van Dijk, I don't really.
Yeah.
I don't really think we need to have a discussion. These two are why we.
No, like probably 2.
Even though there was a lot wrong with today, they're why we lost. Those 2.
I still disagree with that.
If Virgil headers it, doesn't let it bounce, boom, we're still in the ascendancy. No goal scored from Martinelli. Even if he'd just kicked it out for a throw-in and we regroup when Alisson was coming out, there were so many times when he could have just dealt with that. And then what the hell was he doing when Trossard scored his goal? What was he doing?
But this is what I'm saying, Drift. You keep on saying this about Vert, but Alisson's equally at fault for both, bro.
Yeah, that's why I said both of them are the reason we lost. That's what I said. Both of them are the reason why we lost. Both of them, for both of the goals we conceded, both of them were the worst I've probably ever seen them. I probably haven't ever seen those two players ever be that bad in the whole time they've been a Liverpool player. In fact, I can categorically say with Alisson, that is definitely the worst I've ever seen Alisson. Like, what on earth? Ali don't get beat at his front post. Like, no, it's mad. It's mad. Both of them. Today, them man needed to hang there. They need to get a cab home. They shouldn't even be allowed on a bus today. Who was oh yeah, sorry. Joey was at right back, but he was started at left back. Trent.
4.
Yeah, I can't lie.
In fact, 3. 3, like, attitude stank. Everything stank.
Yeah. Something didn't look right, but I'm not even going to argue. I don't even care.
3.
Mac.
6.
I'm going to go 8.
No,
I thought Matt.
no,
I thought Matt was brilliant today, bro. He was the only midfielder that wasn't letting us down in that first half.
No, not an 8, Drew.
He was the only midfielder in that first half, winning the ball back, getting in there, being tenacious, not losing tackles. Like, he was almost on his own in that first half.
In the first half, he barely got a touch, bro.
Yeah, but
he
his tackling was still
he was
there.
out of position for a lot. He was out of position a lot of the time as well, bro. He's and again, he's not a DM, but if he's playing the role and he's out of position, he's out of position, bro.
No, but out of position isn't fair if he's trying to do something else and then something happens.
No, it's absolutely fair, bro, because your sole responsibility is to make sure you protect the back foot. That's your main responsibility, is to protect the back foot. If you're not doing that,
but what goal was his fault in terms of his defense? His
well,
defense.
We said it. The first goal, the midfield weren't there, which meant Virgil had to vacate his space.
Yeah, but it wasn't literally McAllister who was at fault. It was more to do with the fact that the runner from Gravenberch's side made the run.
He's part of the midfield.
And Gravenberch wasn't anywhere to be seen. And the defense should have pushed up with Virgil and played them offside.
But the pass was made in the center of the pitch. Like, it's all of the midfield fault, which means he's at fault for that as well. And 8, bro, 8 was 8 in the ratings, like, very good.
I think he was very good.
But he weren't
even if you want to take away the fact that he was at fault, he was part fault for that goal. Everything else, bro, he was the only one winning tackles, only one being tenacious, only one getting on the ball, helping us to like.
Jones was getting on the ball more than him.
In the second half, Jones was playing really well, but in the first half, for all Jones's effort, I still don't think he was as good as McAllister was. I still think he was getting left wanting a lot in that first half. He was being brave, but I don't think he was as good as McAllister in that first half. McAllister, for me, was I mean, we'll land in the middle. I think McAllister was good today. You gave him a 6, did you say?
Yeah.
We'll land on a 7 in the middle then. All right, on to Jones then. What would you give Jones for today?
I'd have gone 6.5 for Jones.
I'd maybe go 7 for Jones, because again he was trying. I can't really argue to get him higher than that, but I thought he was good though.
Yeah, I'm not mad at a 7. I would have gone 6.5. I'm not mad at a 7 though.
You're not going to argue with me just putting Gravenberch right next to Trent, are you?
No, absolutely not. He had a better go. He's a 4 and Trent's a 3, but you're both in the same pile.
I mean, technically, he got an assist, which was probably the only thing he did in the game that actually stood out. So yeah, it just wasn't good enough. Gakpo, you're not going to argue with me putting him next to them, are you?
There's so much I want to say on Gakpo, but if I say it, it's going to come across reactionary, and I just don't want arguments today. Like, I just can't be asked. But how long do we have to wait for us to see that dog in him and for him to be consistent and to be? Because I was told he's Firmino's replacement. I was told all these things, and I'm yet to see it. I see it in little spurts. Very little spurts. He can have a quiet game and pop up with a goal. Yeah, that's nice. We see games like today. I need you to step up. You're playing against Zinchenko. You're meant to be a bad boy winger. You're playing against Zinchenko, who we all know defensively is absolutely poor. And Zinchenko ran him off the pitch, bro. Didn't just outplay, he ran him off the pitch. Zinchenko was never once in trouble and absolutely dealt with him. I can't think of one time he fronted up Zinchenko and did anything to bother him. And I'm not even sitting there saying I think Gakpo is a rubbish player, because he's far from a rubbish footballer. I will never sit there and say he's a rubbish footballer. But for the hype he gets, and you can probably throw Gravenberch in this to an extent, but for the hype Gakpo gets,
I don't think he gets hyped. Who hypes him?
He absolutely does.
Who hypes him? I've never seen him get hyped.
Bro.
Who? Most of the time, Gakpo people are saying what you're saying. What's he doing? He's not doing enough. I never hear people hyping Gakpo.
He gets hyped a lot, Drift.
Nah, I've never seen it. I think it's a little bit more on Klopp than him today, playing in right wing. I think that was a bad
The moment we
decision.
signed him, he's been hyped. I'd say maybe in the last couple of weeks it's died down, but when we first signed him, he was hyped to the moon.
This season,
Then in the
I've
summer,
not heard
again,
anybody
hyped
hype
to the moon as well.
I just think Gakpo came with a good reputation, did well last season, in my opinion, considering he joined halfway, and then went into this season with a lot of promise. But this season, I haven't heard anybody hype Gakpo. I don't remember the last time I heard anybody big up Gakpo. But
Maybe not recently.
I don't think he should have been played at right wing as well. So Klopp's got to take some blame for that, because that's the worst player to play on the right, in my opinion. Out of all of our front players, I think Cody on the right is the worst one. So I'm really confused as to why he did it. I'm really confused, but yeah. Jota.
Jota's a bit of a difficult one to.
I'm giving Jota a 5. I thought he was average today. He did, considering he normally loves to play against Arsenal. I don't remember anything Jota did at all.
Yeah,
That's Jota's worst game for ages.
I'd have probably gone 5.5 for Jota, but again, he did try and make stuff happen. Just didn't come up. It didn't happen for him.
He didn't do anything. If I'm being honest, Jota didn't do anything today. If we're gonna give Gakpo stick, we can't do that because Jota's normally brilliant. We give him a blighting because we're only just talking about today right now, isn't it? What was Jota better than Cody at today?
Well, for a start, battling, winning the ball back and making it stick and actually making passes. Well, there's no way he's in the same category as Cody. There's absolutely no way.
No, but what I'm asking you is, what really was that much better?
How much service did he receive?
Yeah, but you could say the same thing about Gakpo, because our front line weren't getting much service at all, were they? Really?
He's a right winger, bro. Gakpo is meant to be one of the people providing service.
Yeah, but the ball's got to get to him first.
But the ball got to Gakpo quite a few times, bro, and he did very little with it.
I don't know. Like I said, I would definitely put Jota above Gakpo. I wouldn't say there's much difference in today's game between the two, though. I wouldn't. Like, I don't really.
I'd say 5. I'm good with 5, but there's no way he wasn't better.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that he should get a 4. I'm going 5 as well. But what I'm saying is it wasn't that much better than what Gakpo did. Diaz.
Honestly, barring him battling for the goal, which you give him a 0.5 for extra. Poor.
I'm going to go 6 for Diaz because I think he was the only one of the front players that actually was getting involved in the game. At least he was getting on the ball and trying to make things happen. And the odd time he was doing, he was doing. He was a lot better than the other two. He was a lot better.
He did not beat Ben White once today.
Yeah, but then you don't have to beat the fullback to be having a good game. There's still other facets of the game that I think he was doing better at than the other two. There's no way he's on the same level as Jota today.
He's a 5.5 because he got the goal.
Nah, he was involved in the game. It wasn't even just about the goal. Like he was trying to get on the ball all the time. He was in the game. His touches.
Oh, do you not remember how many flicks he did and lost the ball? He lost. He probably lost the ball more than the other two.
Yeah, because that was him trying to do something.
Yeah, but that's not smart decision making, bro. That's not footballing IQ. That's instinctive.
But if there's nobody ahead of you and there's nobody around you to pass to, so you try and create something for yourself, even though it might look like the wrong idea when you lose it, at least you're trying to do something.
But you don't do that in our half, though, Drift. You do that in the opposition half.
Well, no matter where you are. So what was he supposed to do? Just whack the ball out of play? Like there were times when he was battling with 2 or 3 players and there was no one coming to help him. He was like, what was he supposed to do?
If the ball's been cleared and the ball's still in our half and he can't bring the ball down, then knock it back, knock it out, knock it up the pitch then. Knock it up the pitch. Don't try and do a little flick and try and make something happen when you know the likelihood of it happening is very slim.
The flick was to look. He was definitely
you're right. The flick was to try and make something happen, but it didn't make something happen. So we can't then credit him for.
But what's the difference between trying to do a flick and losing it, and if the flick had come off, he would have retained possession, or just booting it to them, and then they've got the ball anyway, and then we don't have possession either.
It's further away from goal. Because it's further away from goal, and we can regroup a bit better.
Yeah, but a lot of the time with his back to goal, how much further would he have got it up the pitch? It's not like it would have gone all the way to the goalie. It would have maybe been like 20 yards up in the air, and then so at least he was trying to retain possession.
Yeah, but it's still going further away from the goal.
No, I get that, but it wasn't like he was doing these things on the edge of his box in ultimate danger. He was doing it like at the halfway line and trying to like make something happen. For me, at least he's trying. Like, you know what I mean? If he just gives the ball away, it's the same thing, really.
But we can't sit here and act like Jota didn't try. Jota tried today, but nothing came off. Diaz tried and nothing came off.
I don't think Jota was trying as much as Diaz was.
Of course he was.
In my opinion, that he wasn't.
But without the goal, for me, Diaz is a 5. With the goal, he's a 5.5.
I would have given him a 6. Where is he? All right, now we're on to the subs then, isn't it? Elliot.
Barring getting done by Trossard for the goal, which, to be honest, so much more happened after that I can't even blame him for the goal. I'll probably go 6.5 for Elliot.
I would have probably gone with a 6.5 until he got done. But he has to take some blame for that, so I'm going to give him a 6 because he did get absolutely spun. Like that was crazy. Robbo,
I'll go with an average 5.
Didn't have the impact we were hoping, did he?
No.
Which other sub came on? Thiago. Was Thiago on the pitch long enough to be marked? I think he got like 5, 10 minutes. How long was he on the pitch for? Can you remember?
I can't remember. I'll go 5. Just an average rate.
Yeah. And Nunes was the other sub.
I'll go 5 again. I'll be honest. Nunes did frustrate the hell out of me when he came on though.
Yeah, I would go 5.5 because I think he did more than Robbo and Thiago.
No way.
But
how is he? But I'll be honest, getting a 5 is kind to Nunes, bro.
What did he do worse than what Robbo did, as an example? As a sub,
he beat his man, and instead of using IQ and intelligence, bro, he just blasted the ball for a start.
He tried to score.
No. But from that, and come on, Drift, bro. I get he's your guy, but you can't just defend everything he does.
No, I think he should have crossed the ball, but if it had gone in the bottom corner like it did against Newcastle, then
didn't, bro. But that's like saying, bro, no matter what a player does, if it came off, then it would have been all right. But it didn't come off, bro.
I know it didn't.
But the probability of him scoring that goal is like 0.005.
Look, I still think he was better. Just slightly than Robertson as a substitute. I think he made more of an impact than Robbo did. So
constantly offside again, bro. There was a time where Jota was running through.
That was the only time. That was it. He wasn't offside any other time. It was only that time.
I'm just saying a 5. For me, it could have been a 4, but I'll go for 5.
It doesn't matter anyway. There's not much difference. And Klopp.
4.
I'll go 5 for Klopp. I think what annoyed me about what he did today was playing Gakpo right wing. I think that was a really bad decision. And it gave us a bit of a disadvantage. I think he was forced to play Trent. I truly believe he wouldn't have played Trent. I think he would have played Bradley if it wasn't for the horrible thing that's happened to Bradley. I think, say, he was forced to play Trent, and I guess Trent and Robbo both not being up to speed, he thought I'll go with a natural right back rather than thingy for his creativity, which is understandable, but it didn't work in the end. And I think he made good substitutions until he made the last one. I think the Thiago for Gomez one was a bad one, but I get why, because we were chasing a goal and he wanted to try and get a goal. So I get going to 3 at the back to have more creativity. It didn't look good in the end, but I understood why he did it. But that was the only one I think was bad, because the other changes he made, we all asked for. He actually made the changes that we asked for. Literally,
15 minutes too late though. I mean, 5 is mad for me. But
so no, because I still believe what Van Dijk and Ali did can't be put on Klopp. So a 5 is average. I think he had an average game as a manager today, but those 2 mistakes lost us the game, and they've got nothing to do with what Klopp did.
But the first half, we run off the pitch and tactically outdone. The second half, we created nothing. I get Alisson and Virgil made a mistake. Tactically, he was at fault for us creating nothing and having no attacking impetus. Defensively, we had no structure. But the tactics were horrible today.
And then
but the 4 for Klopp is generous. The tactics were horrible.
And then he made a change, and then until the mistakes happened, we were in the ascendancy. So that's why I'm averaging him out.
You say we're in the ascendancy drift. I ask you again, can you name me a shot we had on goal that tested Raya?
What did Arsenal do before they scored? We still had more possession and still had a better control.
What, in the first half?
No, in the second half, until we made the mistake. We were the better team right up until Alisson lets in that goal.
Forget about
so therefore, in the second half, we corrected the problem.
But what's that got to do with us? What's Arsenal not being able to create anything got to do with us? We're talking about our team
because they couldn't create anything because we were the better team. So the changes Klopp made at half time,
we had more
and then
possession.
the substitutions gave us the impetus in the game. Without the mistake, we was absolutely in control of that game. We were calm and we were just trying to open them up. And then we make that mistake, and then all of a sudden, yeah, we might not have been peppering their goal, but we were still in control of the game up until that point.
Bro, we had possession. We did nothing with it. Possession doesn't mean you're in control of the game always, bro, because we're playing into Arsenal's hands. We're playing centrally through them. We do. How are we not?
We were winning corner after corner. They were looking flustered. We were looking like the better team. Until Martinelli's goal, Arsenal were looking like they were about to actually bottle their home game that they're supposed to win. We've given them that win. I understand where you lot are coming from in the first half. 100% the first half was horrible. But in that second half, we've given them that game.
Drift, we had 4 corners all game.
Yeah, and they would have all been in the second half. I don't think we had a corner in the first half, did we?
So where are we saying we peppered them with corner after corner? Bro, we had 4 corners in 90 minutes. That's not peppering with corners, bro.
I didn't say peppering. I said we were winning corners, we were having possession, and we were in control of the game. Arsenal weren't doing anything until we scored that, until they got that jammy goal. We're at their ground, and we had control of the ball in the second half because Klopp made the changes at half time that gave us back the ascendancy. We started the half well, and we were the better team in the second half until the mistake. So
you know you can control the game without having possession. You know you can be more dangerous without having as much possession. But every time they look to counter-attack us, and that was at 1-1.
But
today, Arteta out-tacticked Klopp. The manager that we laugh at, the manager that we berate, the manager we think overrated, the manager that we were laughing at the end of the game, saying, "Oh, look at him over-celebrating." he out-tacticked Klopp today.
He did what he always does, so I don't really know how he
No,
can
he
have
didn't, bro. He
out-tactics
didn't.
him.
He didn't. He absolutely didn't. Because when they were out of position, out of possession, they went 4-4-2. Havertz and Odegaard made their two strikers, and the rest went flat back four, and then they stifled us in that aspect. When they had the ball, they transitioned into a 4-2-3-1. So
Okay.
they controlled the situation. We started. We were inverting with Joe Gomez, which overcrowded the midfield and gave Virgil and Ibu no option to play out from the back, which meant Alisson had to continuously have the ball at his feet. Then that also meant that when Diaz got the ball, he had no outlet, so he always had to go backwards. That is Arsenal controlling the game because they are forcing us into situations that we don't want to be in. Diaz doesn't want to receive the ball and have to pass it back. Diaz wants to be able to turn and then drive at his man. But because of the tactical setup from Arsenal and our lack of tactics, we played into their hands.
Yeah, but he did what he always does. But he did what he always does. Arsenal played the same way they always do.
They didn't do that against us last year. They did not do 4-4-2 out of possession against us.
I'm talking about this season. That's how Arsenal play every game.
They didn't do that.
They didn't do anything different.
They didn't do anything different. But they didn't do that at Anfield. They didn't do a 4-4-2 when they're out of position and then transition to a 4-2-3-1. They didn't.
Look, I don't think Arsenal did
today's
anything.
Game and the Anfield game was night and day, bro. But the Anfield game, we were unlucky not to win. We balled them out, bro.
Yeah, but in the first half, they were the better team at Anfield.
Not for the whole of the first half, bro. You remember Salah got the equaliser in the first half. But they scored in the first few minutes, and then after the first maybe 10 to 15 minutes, maybe 10 to 12, they were
better for about half an hour at Anfield.
I don't think it was half an hour, but let's even say it was half an hour, bro. For the rest of that game, it was us.
Yeah, it was.
So today is night,
and it would have been the same today without the mistakes. This game was a carbon copy of that game, but we made two dumbass mistakes, and one came when there was a red card when we were down to 10 and we shouldn't have been. It was a carbon copy. They start stronger. We end the half 1-1, even though they were the better team in the first half. We come out in the second half way better, have control of the game. And until we make that mistake, we were in control of the game. They were doing whatever it was they were trying to do. We've give them that game. Even though we weren't great today, we gave them that game.
But our goal came from an Arsenal mistake, bro.
No, that's fine. That's true.
But we weren't. But there was never a point.
But we were still in control in the second half until that goal.
We were passing left to right and along the back line and a little bit in midfield, bro. But Raya had nothing to do today. He had nothing to do. The goalkeeper had nothing to do.
So you think Arsenal earned the win more than we threw it away?
6 or 1, half a dozen of the other, but we
threw it away.
So they weren't better than us today.
Yeah, because they were better in the first half. So obviously they get a 3-1 win. Yeah, they were 60-40 Arsenal.
They were better than us. But
until that goal, I believe we've thrown it away by letting them have that goal. We gave them the ascendancy, we gave them back their confidence, and then they started to play well again. Up until then, we were on top of them. They weren't playing well in the second half. And eventually, I reckon we would have opened them up and got a goal. As soon as we make that mistake, they realized, oh shit, we got a goal. And then they got better, they got their confidence, and then they grew back into the game. We gave them back the impetus with that. If we don't make that mistake, that game ends a draw or we win it.
But if they don't make that mistake in the first half, bro, we might not get back into it full stop.
No, but there's a big difference, Cal. Even though you're right, it was a mistake. Diaz hustled and earned the mistake. Whereas Van Dijk and Alisson, no one can explain to me what tomfoolery that was. That's just the dumbest thing I've ever. Like, what were they doing, bro? There's a big difference.
Martinelli hustled, bro. He didn't give that up.
Bro. Martinelli didn't hustle, man. He was just there. He didn't give it up. Yeah, he was just there, bro. That was. So you think Van Dijk and Alisson's mistake is the same as Gabriel and Saliba's mistake?
No, it's worse. But they're both big mistakes. Good. They're both big mistakes.
Diaz earned the mistake. We gave them the mistake.
Bro, Martinelli could have seen that ball bounce and taken a step back and go, all right, Virgil's going to head this back up. Let me just regroup. Bro, Martinelli was on his heels and said, I'm going to stick around here. I'm going to barge him. Like anybody would. So, bro, so you got to give credit to it, bro, because he didn't give it away. Like,
Alright.
why is it so hard for us to sit here and go, Martinelli got something because he stuck on Virgil van Dijk we messed
gets
up?
a little bit of credit, but
He
there's
gets
no
credit
way
for
anybody's
his
going
job.
to convince me that his presence is literally why it happened. It was just clownery from our players. Like, what were
And it
they
was clownery
doing?
from
Like,
Arsenal. But my point is, they scored their first goal from opening us up. They had another chance before that when Saka had a header in the center of the goal and he mistimed that. If I'm not mistaken, they had another chance aside from that where Ibou's made a great block, I think, from Odegaard. But we were lucky to go. We'd have been lucky to go in at halftime 1-0 down.
yeah, I agree with that.
We got extremely lucky. But remember what I said at halftime? We burnt the place down and stole everything in the building.
Yeah, I agree with that. But in the second half, we were way better.
In the second
than
half,
them.
we
In the second
transitioned to a
half, we were
4-2-3-1.
way better than them in the second half.
We weren't way better than them, bro.
We were, man. Until the goal, we were. But it's all right, man. I'm not gonna. It's a pointless argument. I was just checking what time they actually scored their goal. It was the 67th minute. So it was what, 22, 23 minutes into the second half. For those 22, 23 minutes, we were by far the better team. And until that mistake, I think we would have gone on and got a goal. But we're splitting hairs. Who cares between 4 and 5 for Klopp? It is what it is. We've lost the game. So yeah. Great game. Where do you feel we sit now in this title race?
Honestly, I don't know. Because I don't know how much clearer it could have been this season.
Hold on a minute. Silver back. Suck your mum. Yeah, go on, Cal.
What did they say?
I'm not going to repeat it, but he knows to suck his mum twice.
Or
Go
is
on, bruv,
it-
just
is it
continue.
worth- Is it just worth?
No,
banning?
I've got rid of him, bruv. I've got rid of him.
Okay.
Of course, I banned him.
Like, I know where this is gonna go, and I'm at a point now where I kind of don't care in it.
Mm.
When Trent was injured, it was very easy for Klopp to go, Conor Bradley plays. When Robbo's injured, it's very easy for him to go, Gomez plays.
Mm.
When we're down to our bare bones, it's very easy for him to go, you play there, you play there. Now, again, rest in peace to Conor Bradley's dad, RIP, and God bless his family, and I hope they find any sort of comfort in this horrible, horrible situation.
Mm.
For me, if I'm not mistaken, Robbo's been training just as long as Trent. Now, granted, Trent hasn't been out as long as Robbo.
He's been out like 4 times longer, isn't it?
But I don't think anyone worries defensively when it comes to Robbo. We worry when it comes to, can he find that final ball, or if he's in on goal, we know he's going to miss. There isn't one person in the chat, if they're going to be completely honest with themselves, who doesn't worry about Trent defensively from a right back perspective, especially going up a winger like Martinelli. When I saw Trent there, straight away I said he needs to have a big game. But the part straight away inside, I was like, Martinelli he deals with Trent in a bad way usually. Like, what's going to be different today? And again, maybe I'm speaking in hindsight. I think he could have gone Joe Gomez right back and Robbo left back. Not just that. He's our vice captain, Mr. Liverpool, the scouts in our team, and he's been brilliant this season. And I get people say he's not match fit and all this. But you see, for me, match fit means you get the ball, and where you'd usually make a cross, it will go to someone. It doesn't. Match fit is, your first touch might be a little bit off. Match fitness is, you misjudged the bounce. Bruv, match fitness has nothing to do with your effort, desire, and attitude. It really
I disagree with
nuts.
the
Let me
effort
land, please. Sorry
and the
to cut.
thingy. I disagree with that, but yeah.
It really pisses me off when people say it's match fitness why a player can't sprint back or a player can't show more aggression or be in the right position or show that he wants it. It pissed me off today that Martinelli didn't have to use no trickery, didn't have to work hard to walk past Trent, which means Ibu has to vacate his position because he's got to babysit our vice captain who's been doing this for 8 years and is truly a world-class footballer. Trent should not be getting babysat anymore. He's a big man now. He goes gym and everything. He should not have to be babysat. Connor Bradley's a youth. Connor Bradley ain't been babysat once. We may go and help him out. I ain't seen him get babysat once. He played against the same Martinelli at the same stadium with a weakened team. He didn't get babysat in that game. Drift, what did you say when he came away from that game? He pocketed Martinelli. Drift, respectfully, and to anyone in the chat, has anyone ever uttered the words Trent has pocketed Martinelli today? No.
That's
Why
not his
is that?
game.
Why is that?
He was bad today. I'm not defending him, but
How
I still
is
feel.
it- how
I
is
still
it-
think it's disingenuous, bro, for a guy who's having his first start for a month to say that you can't say that match fitness plays a part in it.
Brother, I never said match fitness doesn't play a part. I said match fitness doesn't play a part in your attitude and endeavor. And
No,
with
but
all
you
due
will,
respect, no one could disagree with that.
you also said about what was the other one that you said? Something to do with like the physical. You said one of the things where it's got nothing to do with it, and it was like a physical attribute, and that's why I disagree. Because if you're just coming back, you're not up to speed yet. Like the guy had a knee brace on the other day in the game we
He
saw.
didn't
him
have
with,
one on
like,
today, bro. Did you see him sprint today, Drift?
there was one time, yeah, when he got back in, and then Martinelli came cut inside, and then that's when you said he should have engaged
because
him.
he was already out of position. So once we saw him,
No,
sprint,
wait, it was Martinelli, remember, and he sprinted back, and then when he got in position, you said that he should have engaged because he knew Ibu was behind him. So yeah, I saw him sprint back once.
So he sprint once in how many minutes? 60 odd minutes, 50 odd minutes, 50 odd 60 minutes. Bro, that is not good enough. One sprint.
No, I'm not saying he was good today.
That can't
But
be blamed on
I
match fitness.
definitely think it has something to do with it being with him being out injured. But again, I'm not gonna argue the fact he was shit. I don't really care.
But you either play him in midfield or don't play him at all. I'm done with this whole let's invert him at right back. Let's do this.
I disagree with
done
that.
with it now.
He's arguably been player of the season as a right back. We can't just have one game and he's back off of injury and then
Not
say
just
that.
one game though, is it?
Well, yeah, it is. He was today. He hasn't really had a bad game at right back this season. What other bad games has he had at right back this season? He's been arguably player of the season.
And how much of right back has he actually done? How much has Ibu been doing?
No, that's come on, man. That's not fair. Even though Trent isn't an exceptional defender, we all know that. He has actually been impeccable for the majority of the season. And his first start back after a knee injury, where I may add, last time
has he been defensively impeccable this season?
Last time we came here and we came away with a 2-0 win in the FA Cup, he was brilliant defensively and he had an all-round good game. So I'm not having this first time that he's had a bad game, and then all of a sudden we're gonna like go back to last season's.
Has he been impeccable defensively this season?
He'll never be impeccable because he's not an impeccable defender, but he's been good defensively this season, and he's definitely done his job well. And we went to the Emirates and won at the FA Cup, and he was brilliant defensively in that game and offensively. There's clips in that. There's clips going around of showing him turning defensive tackles into attacking counterattacks. He was brilliant, Cal. His first game back after a knee injury, a month out. Yes, he was bad today, but we're not going to do the he's not good enough thing anymore. We're not going to do that.
I never said he's not good enough.
You did. You said he shouldn't play. You said he's not good enough to play.
I said I don't want him at right back anymore. He's a midfielder playing at right back.
Bro, he's good enough to play right back. He's coming.
He's a midfielder playing at right back.
No, he's a right back who people think should change into a midfielder. We've won
not a
every
right back
trophy
anymore.
and played for
He
5
doesn't
years,
act and
6 years
talk like he
with
doesn't
him at right back.
talk like a right back, bro. He doesn't want to play there. He's not a right back in his mind.
Bro, he's been right back all season.
But his starting position is right back. How often is he actually in that position, bro?
But he's been right back all season.
So just because he's starting position is there, that means
No, because that's the tactics and that's the way we play.
so
He's been right
to
back all
accommodate
season.
him because he doesn't want to play right back. Hence why we invert.
No, we're not, because we want to play that system. That's the reason why when Trent hasn't been there, we've still inverted from the left and Joey's inverted, because it's the way we want to play. We can't run the narrative we're only doing it for Trent. Otherwise, when Trent was missing, bro, we would have stopped inverting. But we've inverted with Joey right back and we've inverted with Joey left back. That's the way we want to play, bro. We just have an extra weapon in Trent, which makes us better than most at doing it. But Trent has been a brilliant player all season, bro. He's fresh back off of an injury. And let's be honest, even though I don't want to try and shirk responsibility for him because he was terrible today, what protection was he getting on that right from Gakpo and Gravenberch? Gakpo and Gravenberch are 2 of our 4 worst players today. They were giving him no help and no protection down that side of the pitch.
He's getting protection from Ibu.
No, he was getting cover from Ibu, not protection, cover. Ibu covers him, bro. He doesn't protect him. He covers him. There's a difference. His protection is supposed to come from in front. And he was getting no protection from Gravenberch and no defensive running backs from Gakpo. Gakpo never trapped back on that side once. So our whole right side was weak.
Gomez? Where was Gomez?
Trent look worse than he was.
Where was Gomez protection? How many times did Gomez get done today?
Yeah, but Gomez was inverting. And remember, you was actually annoyed that there was
times
but I'm
when
talking
he
about
was
from
vacating
a defensive
standpoint. Because Gomez strikes me as someone who enjoys and likes playing at fullback.
Yeah, because he's a better defender. He's naturally a better defender. So, of course, he's going to have a better game defensively, regardless, because he's just a better defender. But
because he wants
that doesn't mean that Trent is a bad right back. He's been brilliant all season.
Sorry.
In my opinion, it's just one of them things.
You know, a lot of defending comes down to mentality, right? How much you want it.
Yeah. I mean, majority of things do, yeah.
But Milner was never a fullback in his whole life, was it? How many times did we see Milner get done up?
Not very often.
All right, then.
But he was a better player defensively, which is weird to say because Trent is a right back. But I'll say Milner was better defensively than Trent.
He wanted to be better, bro.
No, because he just naturally was.
Bro, he doesn't care about being a right. Bro, if every interview he does, he speaks about being a midfielder, he doesn't care about being a right back, bro.
I mean, I've never heard him say that.
You've never heard him speak about playing in midfield in interviews?
No, I've heard him say that he's happy playing where the manager thinks he's best playing.
Of course he's going to say that. Of course.
But I've never heard him be like, yeah, I don't want to be a right back anymore. I want to be a midfielder. I've never heard him say that. He doesn't have to.
But so hold on. Do you know? Let's leave it.
But you just said all you hear is him talk about wanting to be a midfielder. I've never heard him say that.
You said, "Oh, Klopp didn't say that, but this is what he means."
No, so but because you said, look how many times he talks about. I've never heard him say that. If you show me the interview, cool. I've never heard him in an interview say, yeah, I want to be a midfielder. I don't want to be a right back. Okay. I've never heard him say that, bro. If you show me that, then cool.
I don't want to be a right back, but he's definitely said he sees himself as a midfielder. He wants to be a midfielder.
I've never heard him say that, but if you show me it, then fair enough. All I know is he's been brilliant all season. He's arguably been player of the season. Even rivals have said Trent has arguably been the best player in the league this season, and he's been doing it from right back. So all I'm saying is one bad game in his first start back off the injury, and because of the magnitude of the game, we're angry, we're vexed. I understand it. But that doesn't mean that Trent isn't a right back anymore or can't do it anymore. It just means he had a terrible game today. Like, he's been brilliant all season. And I think Bradley being so good is making people want to shit on Trent defensively again. And I get Bradley has been brilliant, but until Bradley's injury, Trent was brilliant. And we were thinking, what are we going to do when Trent got injured?
Trent is making people crap on him defensively. No one else, bro. Trent's doing that to himself.
I think it's half him, half the system, because he is asked to do a lot. But anyway, it is what it is, man. We've lost the game. Do you think we're still in the title, or do you think it's City?
Absolutely.
Obviously we're still in the title, but do you agree that, with me anyway, that now City are the ones in the driver's seat now? Or would you say we're still in the driver's seat?
It's hard for me to say because it all depends on what we do when we've got players back and all that. Like, are we going to start playing players in proper positions? Or we like? I still think a lot of it's in our hands because we have got City at home. A lot of it is in our hands. City have got Champions League coming back, so have Arsenal. We have Europa as well, but naturally we're able to rotate a bit more because we've got easier opposition, quote unquote, on paper than they have.
Can I just ask you a question? And listen to anyone in the chat as well. If you lot believe that Anfield is the equalizer, which normally it is, I agree on that to a degree. We couldn't beat Man United at home and we couldn't beat Arsenal at home. So somebody tell me why we'll beat City at home.
No, I'm not saying we will, but we also
no. I just because people go, hey, City's the home game. Fair enough. It's much better than it being at the Etihad. I get that, but we didn't beat Man U at home and we didn't beat Arsenal at home. So why would we beat City at home when they're better than both of those?
All right. So Man U sat. We dumped the bed. Arsenal, were it not for a little bubble of the ball, Trent scores and we win that game.
Okay.
So fine margin. I don't think Man City are as strong as they have been in previous seasons. I'll go as far as to say I think they're weaker defensively than they ever have been under Guardiola, apart from his very first season when he had like Kop-Ish and Sagna and all them.
But they're still better than Man United and Arsenal, though.
I mean, it's debatable whether they're better than Arsenal.
Nah, come on, Cal. They're better than Arsenal.
It's not.
Up until this victory, people thought Arsenal weren't even in the title race anymore.
No, but no one's ever said. Well, I don't know anyone. Who said,
going into this game, majority of people were saying they don't think. I remember having to. It made me feel sick. I had to be like, "Nah, guys, come on, Arsenal are still in this." Like, I felt like I had to almost remind people that we can't just count Arsenal out. So many people like, "Yeah, Arsenal ain't in this anymore. It's got nothing to do with Arsenal anymore. It's Liverpool versus City." Like, so City are better than Arsenal.
I don't know if City are better than Arsenal this season. I've got to be real with you.
I think City
right now, I don't know if they are better.
I think they're better than Arsenal all the time. I'm not saying there's a massive disparity.
At the moment, I think it's a coin flip.
Nah. City are better than Arsenal. They are. There's no two ways about it. And if we couldn't beat Arsenal at home, then I don't know. Beating City at home.
Going on that premise, though, we lost to Arsenal at home. We drew to City.
Away, you mean?
Sorry, yeah, away from home, we lost to Arsenal. We lost to, we drew City. I get why City are the favourites because they've been here, done that, and they've been doing it. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that game at the moment, you'd probably say the Anfield game looks like it's got a draw written all over it if you're basing it on a lot of stuff. And that's why City are in the driver's seat for me because they're ahead of us, and if we don't beat them, then. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying I
also see drift. So I also see City dropping more points this season. But unfortunately, I see us doing the same as well. So it just depends how many points. I see us getting more draws. I see City losing a couple, but I see them going on winning runs. That's the difference. We keep on talking about losses, and it's never been losses why we ain't won the Premier League. I need people to understand that. It's never been losses when we've lost out on winning the Premier League. It has always been draws. 13-14 was draws. 18-19 draws. The quad chase, draws. 08-09 draws. When we finish second with a team, 9 times out of 10, we lose less games than them. It is draws that have been absolutely destroying us.
Yeah, but if you even though I get where you're coming from, and it's quite easy for people to like say that as a blanket statement. If you think about right now,
it's a fact.
Nobody's gonna. No. But here's the thing: people say that in hindsight, and I do understand. But let's keep it a buck. Nobody would even be that angry right now if we'd ended that game 1-1 or 2-2, and we'd got a draw there. So a loss is definitely worse than a draw. You can't keep drawing. I agree with that. But a loss is always worse than a draw because at least the draw is a point. If that game was 1-1 or 2-2, we are not here anywhere close to as angry as we are. So I think it's a blanket statement when people's gone, we don't win the league because we draw games. yes, it seems that way, but we gained a point in that draw that a loss doesn't give you. So I still don't think it, and it's not as big of a knock on your confidence if you draw a game and lose a game as well. You lose a game, it's always worse on your confidence. It's also worse on how it feels. It's always worse on the table, and it's a point less. So I don't know if we can always do the whole, the draws kill us. It was better than a loss though, right?
Drift. We've lost 2 games this season. Less than Man City.
Yeah, I think they've
Man City win their 2 games in hand, they're above us. Bro, you can draw 3 games and have 3 points, lose 2 and win 1 in 3, and you've got the same amount of points.
No,
but the draws are killing us. It's draws that are killing us.
But it's very easy to put it down on paper like that because mathematically it makes sense. But there's a lot that goes into losing. You lose momentum. You lose confidence. Like, it isn't just about the mathematical point. No, a draw doesn't knock you like a loss does, bro. This affects us now way worse than a draw. Come on, bro. So you're telling me we're walking away from the Emirates today with a draw. We feel the same as we just did with a loss. Come on, bro. You know that's not true.
Probably not. But brother, it's not just an isolated incident. You know, we're talking about throughout a season. We're not going to lose a bag more games, but we probably will draw a few more games, bro. And that's what could potentially stop us from winning the league. Today's not the reason we won't win the league if we don't win it, you know. Today's not the day.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The Luton draw, the Brighton draw when we what 2-1 up or whatever. Those are the games, bro.
No, I
the
hear
Chelsea
that.
1-1 at the beginning of the season. It's those games throughout the season where you look back and you go, "Bro, we're winning that game and drew. Winning that game and drew. We're flipping drew to Luton." It's those games, bro. Man United at home in their worst form.
But you can still flip
That's
it and be like,
draws I just reeled off, bro.
No, I hear that. But City will look back and go, how on earth did we lose to Wolves? I cannot believe we let Villa beat us up like that. And that's a loss. They didn't even get a point out of it.
No,
you can look at it both ways, bro.
Shall I tell you why City don't do that? Because they're lifting the Premier League at the end of the season, bro. So they don't do that. They laugh it off because they're smiling, they're happy. They're on a coach going through the city with their 6 fans. They're laughing at the end of the season, bro, because they're lifting the trophy.
I hear that, but technically,
we're the ones at the end of the
beating
season
them is part of the problem.
We drew that game, bro. We're the ones still talking about, right, Fabinho. If Rodri didn't stop Fabinho scoring in that 2-2 game against Man City, we would have won the league. We're the ones going, Sadio Mane was millimeters away from scoring that goal, would have won the league. We're the ones reminiscing, bro. You think City give a damn what happened a couple years ago? We do. They're lifting the trophies, bro.
I get that, but you can still put it down to their head-to-head. And every time they've won the league, they've beaten us.
No. The last time we went for a chase,
other than the 2 draws, because remember they've won 5 titles, right, out of the 6 titles, and other than when we had the 2 draws, I'm sure they've beaten us at the Etihad every time.
All right, so 18-19 season they beat us at the Etihad.
Yeah.
19-20 we won the league. We beat them at Anfield. They beat us at the Etihad. The season where we both went in for the quad, where we went for the quad, we drew both games.
That was the 2 draws, yeah.
So yeah, we've only got to present each other in 3 titles.
No, but it doesn't even have to be a title race. It's just every time they've won the league, they beat us at Anfield last season. I'm saying every time they've won the league, apart from when we were chasing the quad, they've beaten us. They've beaten Liverpool 4 out of the 5 times they've won the league.
Bro, we beat City at home last season and we didn't even get top 4.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is when we go down to that 1 point difference, I do get the rhetoric that you can look at some of the draws, but then you could also say, but if we just beat them, that draw doesn't matter because we let them gain a 3-point advantage on us by beating us. So you can look at it both ways. So I get the draws do kill us. I get it. But at the same time, it's always easier to look at that in hindsight because no one could tell me if we'd have come away today with a draw, it was worse than a loss. You draw 3 or 4 games in a row and I totally understand it. But if you look at a game as an isolated incident, you can't tell me a draw is worse than a defeat. Losing is the worst thing in sport.
Draws are just as bad as losses nowadays, Drift. I'll just be real with you.
Depends which way you look at it. But
that Luton draw was worse than the loss today. All right, my point proved.
Because of the team, I understand where
Exactly,
you're coming
Drew.
from. But
So
at the same time,
draws are just as bad. With context, draws are just as bad.
yeah, but again, like I said, losing today is worse than
Losing
a draw.
today hurts because of what we'll get from it and the banter and all that stuff and the fact of how we lost. But, bro, losing to Arsenal at Emirates is way less shameful than drawing with Luton at home. Sorry, away from home, sorry.
Yeah, of course it is.
Way more shameful.
Yeah, of course it is.
So
But that isn't
saying,
that isn't the point. The point is losing to Wolves for City meant they got no points. So you could be like, okay, well, there's the evened out. We did draw with Luton and we should have won, but they should have beat Wolves and they lost to Wolves. So it's like you can always do the what about this, what about that? I get that we got to stop drawing games, but nobody could tell me that in the moment, I lose and then win the next one because you don't know if you're going to win the next one. So what I'm saying is we can't just always use this rhetoric. Oh, yeah, we drew too many games because at least it was better than losing the game. And today I would have rather a draw. So that's all I'm saying. 1 point is better than no points.
Yeah, a draw in this game makes more sense because you're diminishing what your direct rivals are doing. But bro, the Brightons and these Chelsea because they're nowhere near us and the Lutons, bro, that like
yeah, you
it's
want to
worse. They're worse.
You want to win, but you definitely don't want to lose it. So when people say, oh, I'd rather just lose to Brighton and then beat Luton, it's like, well, you're just doing the whole mathematical thing. But no, I don't want to lose any game.
Why?
But anyway.
It works.
I don't want to lose any games, bro. I never want to lose a football match.
So hold on. You'd rather draw 2 than lose 1 and win 1 and have more points.
In the hindsight, no. What you're saying makes more sense. But you never know the hindsight at the time.
No,
so every time we come out of a game with a draw, we can't go.
We're talking about hindsight now because we didn't know we'd have a draw.
Because
we didn't know we'd have 2 draws.
You could lose. Because let's use that logic. Arsenal lost when they played West Ham. Yeah. So we could use the logic that a draw with West Ham and a draw with Fulham is worse than if they just lose to West Ham and then they beat Fulham because they'll get more points. So we can use that hindsight, right? And it's like, okay, cool. We're running with that hindsight. They lose to West Ham, but then they beat Fulham. So they get 3 points, which is better than 2 points if they're drawn with West Ham and then they're drawn with Fulham. Cool. But bro, they didn't just lose to West Ham. They then lost to Fulham as well. So they didn't get any points from 6. So it's like, we can't always use that hindsight thing because if you ask an Arsenal fan right now, I reckon they'll tell you, yeah, I wish we'd have drawn with West Ham and I wish we'd have drawn with Fulham instead of losing them 2 games because we'll be level on points with Liverpool at the top of the league. So we can always do that hindsight thing, and I do get where you're coming from, but it's not as easy as that. That's just a suit a narrative scenario because we lose the point by we lose the league by 1 point. So it was go, we didn't draw that game, we fucking won the league. It's easy to do that in hindsight. Go and ask any Arsenal fans right now if they would have rather have lost to West Ham because they would have guaranteed a win against Fulham. No, they lost them both.
Drift.
They lost them both.
I asked you a question here.
They lost them both.
If I said to you right now, you can win 3 games, you can lose 3 games and win the rest.
Yeah, but that's asking me for a perfect scenario. In reality, that's not the case.
And then I say to you, you can draw 6.
By the way, there's a couple people in the chat. I will block a whole load of people, you know. Like, today's not the day. Trust me. So keep talking. That's all I'm saying. Keep talking.
Like, bro,
hindsight is easier to look at the points. At the time, you don't want to lose.
But it's not. But we talk about everything here. We talk about is hindsight because you can't predict the future.
Exactly, and hindsight is a very easy thing to do.
So if we're talking
easy to do anything in hindsight.
So if we're talking in hindsight, though, then, bruv, losing is just as bad as a draw because if you lose and win, and you draw 3, it's the same amount of points.
Yes, but go and ask Arsenal. They didn't do that. They lost to West Ham and then they lost to Fulham straight afterwards. So it didn't do the whole. I get your point, but hindsight doesn't always work.
You're using hindsight to suit your argument, and then you're using stuff that could happen in the future. bro, I'm telling you right
No, I'm
now.
using hindsight from somebody else to show
when it-
how it doesn't always go the way people think. Lose that game, but then win that game and you end up with more points than drawing both. Yes, of course, mathematically that makes sense, but you might lose both. So people keep on doing the hindsight thing of like, I would rather get a loss and then win the other one, but you might not win the other one. So we can't always keep doing that. I would have rather a draw today. And I didn't want to. If people are saying, the draw with Luton, I'd have rather have lost that game, but you might not have won the other game. So, you know what I mean? That it's too easy to do that. We need to just make sure that we beat City when we play them, we beat Arsenal when we play them, and we haven't done that. And for me, that's probably more the problem. We haven't beat Arsenal this season. We've let them draw at Anfield, and we've let them beat us at the Etihad. And we've drawn, at the Emirates, and we've drawn with City. So if we don't beat City at Anfield, nobody turned around and told me it was a draw here or a draw there. No, it was because we didn't beat Arsenal and because we didn't beat City. You can spin it both ways. You can spin it both ways. Like, we can't just keep on doing we drew this, because you never know. So at the end of the day, I would rather win a game. Everybody wants to win a game, but I'd also rather draw a game than lose a game. So
I'll ask a simple question. You've got hindsight, 2 sets of results in hindsight. You have 3 games on each side. On one side, you draw all 3 games. On the other side, you lose 1 and you win 2. On one side, you're undefeated. The other one, you've lost 1. On one side, you got 3 points. On the other side, you got 6 points. But you lose to Man United. Which scenario are you taking?
Of course, logically, that makes way more sense.
So that's all I'm trying to say, bro.
No, I hear you. But it's very easy when people do the hindsight after the fact. But before the game, when you don't know what the score will be, people can't tell me, do you know what? Yeah, lose to Brighton instead of that draw. Fuck that point, because let's go beat Fulham. Because if you don't beat Fulham, you lost all the points at Brighton, and then you didn't gain any at Fulham, so you're way worse off. So we can't always keep doing the hindsight, because, Cal, I'll be honest, quad chasing season, we drew with City 2 games. If we'd have just won one of those games, we win the league, bro, against the opposition. Arsenal have taken 4 points off us in the league, Cal. 4 points. This season, Arsenal have taken 4 points off us at the league. So forget whether we drew with Brighton. Forget whether we drew with Luton. We let the actual competitors who were trying to beat us to the league take the points off us. And if we don't beat City, and if we let City get a win at Anfield, say we do end up losing the game by 1 point. Say City beat us by 1 point to their 4 in a row, yeah? But they beat us at Anfield. I don't want anybody here to tell me the draw at Luton's why we didn't win the league. I'm not hearing that. We didn't win the league because we didn't beat Arsenal and we didn't beat City. It's very easy to point fingers at the Luton game, but it's because we didn't beat Arsenal and we didn't beat City. That's how you win the league. You beat the people who you are up against. So even though I get the logic of what people are saying, do not drop points to the teams you are playing, and then those draws can be slightly acceptable. I can take a draw at Brighton if we beat City home and away. I can take a draw at Luton if we beat Arsenal home and away. But we've taken no points off Arsenal. And City, if they beat us, we've taken no points off City. So I'm saying you can use hindsight both ways. That's all I'm saying.
So you'd rather blame the 2 games than the 6 games we've drawn already.
But draws happen, Cal.
So do losses.
But if you're in a title race, a loss to your rivals unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
And so he's drawing to Luton, bro.
So how can you're saying? But it's worse to lose to the person.
Drift, how can you blame 2 matches over 6 matches?
All right, here's what I'll try and here's the logic I'll try and use.
Because if you convert 2 of those 6 into wins, then those 2 don't matter.
No, I hear you. But here's what I'll say.
The 6 are more of the problem than the 2, bro.
Okay. And logically, what you're saying makes sense, bro. But on the flip side, if we draw with Brighton and everybody looks at that point like it's a crazy 2 points dropped, but in that very same weekend, City draw with Wolves, they've gained no advantage, Cal. If you lose to City, they've directly gained an advantage. Arsenal directly gained an advantage today because we didn't lose to West Ham and they beat Luton. So they've gained points on us, but it had nothing to do with us. They've taken points away from us. They've literally taken points away from us. So a draw at Luton is a bad result because you're supposed to beat Luton. But what if that weekend Arsenal drew with Fulham? Okay, cool. Do you know what? We catch a blind. But if you let them actually take the points from you,
Drift, you do know
you're
I don't want to
fucked.
lose. You do know I don't want to lose any game. But let me ask you a question. Do you think it's a 50? Did you think today was a 50-50 game?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Was Luton away a 50-50 game?
No.
Then that's my point. So losing today
But
hurts.
you're ignoring everything I just
Drift, hear
said.
me out. Losing today hurts because it's our rivals, the manner of which we lost. But drawing to Luton, which in my opinion is a 90-10 swing, 90% chance we should be winning that game. 10% if the worst things
That's a
happen,
bit
like
too
a
far because
flipping
it was
beach
away
ball.
from home. It was away from home, so I wouldn't go as far as that.
I don't care where the game's played, bro. It's Luton, with all due respect to him. No one can name me 3 Luton players off the top of
Bro,
their head.
Arsenal needed 97 minutes of
But
stoppage
they
time to beat
still got
Luton.
it done, bro.
No, but what I'm saying is I think you're being a bit disrespectful to say it's a 90-10 swing. But anyway. But you know what, Cal? I tell you what, the Luton draw doesn't even really matter if we win 3-1 instead of letting Arsenal beat us 3-1. I tell you that for free. So let's stop going
But
back.
I could swing it around and say that the Arsenal result doesn't hear as bad.
Oh, it does. It always matters to lose to your rival, bro. Even if we beat Luton, today's game is still terrible. Beating Luton doesn't make this game any easier. It doesn't, bro. But anyway, it is what it is, man. Let's get through these supers. Chi says Arsenal averaging 6.5 versus 2.2 Liverpool XG in all 3 games this season. That's terrible.
Again, there's no context that the FA Cup game, we went into that extremely debilitated. They should have won that game. Arsenal should have won that game. We had no right to come out of that game with a win because we had a depleted squad. So I'd prefer to see where it is over the last 2 Premier League games because the FA Cup one was an anomaly. Like we had such a poor team going into that and we still won. So
Ty, we winning all of our remaining games. We win the league. Yeah, that is true. Even though it's a lot harder said than done, but I do agree it is true. Jamrock says it's literally definition of being in your hands. You control whether you win or lose the game. If you say we are incapable of beating City, then wrap it up now. In that regard, Jamrock, yeah, you're right. But if you go into a game and there's only one variable that suits you and 2 variables that suit the other team, then it's more in that team's hands than it is your hands. And I don't know if you agree with me on this one, Cal, but if you're going into a game and you can get a draw or a win, but the other team have to get a win and nothing else, you are more in control of that scenario or you have the better odds in that scenario. Therefore, I think it makes it less in your hands. Do you get what I mean? It makes it less in your hands because you can set up for 2 scenarios if you're the one who can take a draw as well as a win. If you need the outright win, it's a 2/3 split. So that's why, even though I get where Jamrock's coming from, I think the team who can afford a draw and a win is the one that is more in their hands. But again, we're just going to go.
You say that though, we could have afforded a draw today, and Arsenal took the ball by the horns.
And that's the problem. We let them have the only scenario that helped. We've given Arsenal the only scenario that kept them in the title.
They kind of took it, bro.
No, but you get what I mean. We could have drawn or won today and still been in the ascendancy. The loss was the only thing we shouldn't have done today. And we've done the one thing we shouldn't have done. We had the advantage going into the game that a draw still kept us top of the league. But, yeah. Bizarre, Van Dijk took responsibility for both goals. So we should.
Well, it's the captain. He's meant to do that. But Alisson should also be apologising to the team as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. Michael says, sorry, Cal. Mac was quality. His passes were progressive. When he gets it, we move forward. Can't wait for Endo so he can join Jones and play Mac in the 8. Yeah, it would be good to.
I thought it was good to that. I thought it was okay. I didn't think he was amazing. But I fully agree with that second statement. I've been saying all season I want a DM to play so he can play further forward.
Yeah, definitely. Red Oxtail, too many players went missing today. There was no press. Yeah, there was a lot of there was a lot of madness going on today. I agree with it. H, not gonna lie, I'm worried about Grav in the short term, especially with Dom, Endo, and Thiago coming back. Meaningful game time could get peak for him. Yeah, that is true. He left to step up though, man. He just has to step up. I think the European games will suit him a lot more. I don't know if you agree, Cal, but he might have to play more Europa games than Premier League games because that it's a bit of a slower pace in Europe, and it will suit his game more. I think he's struggling to keep up with the pace of the Premier League, if I'm being honest.
I just think he's been too nonchalant, and he's just not showing his. Again, but we're talking about brothers who are 6'3" and 6'4" respectively in Gakpo and Gravenberch, brother, and just getting knocked about. I'm watching Elliot is 5'2.5", barging people. He made me not moving people across the pitch and all that, but it's a mentality thing.
I don't even think he gets pushed about because I don't think he even gets involved in the battles.
There was 50-50s today, bruv, when the ball's there and he's just throwing out a little flailing leg. I'm like, bruv, you're meant to go into that and crunch a man if you need to.
I don't know. But I don't even.
By the way, I'm not saying you go and foul or take out a man. I'm fully against that. You see, if there's a 50-50 there to be won, you're better off going in at 100% because one, there's less chance of you getting injured, and two, you can win the ball.
No, I agree with that, but I don't see him going for the 50-50s. That's the thing. Like, I don't know, but I don't see him going in for 50-50s. It's almost like he'll just stand off and he won't even actually get involved. Do you know what I mean? Which is annoying, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't really see him get batted up because I don't see him actually getting involved. Calm said Arsenal had Kai centre forward to help out the midfield. They congested the midfield and putting pressure on our defense. Klopp should have played Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo on the left and Diaz on the right. Yeah, I think it was definitely Klopp's fault putting him on the right. Yeah, I definitely do.
I don't think Klopp can be blamed for that one because Cody's played right wing in his career. He's played it for Holland. He's played it for PSV.
Barely though, bro.
He's going up against Zinchenko. I don't understand what we're doing here. He's going up against Zinchenko. He's not going up against a Robbo in his prime or a flipping Alaba in his prime. Or he's going up. No,
he's got to do better. Of course, he's got to do better. But I still think Diaz should have played right wing from the start. John says, what will lose the league is being over emotional about Klopp's departure. What goes up versus Chelsea must come down versus Arsenal, while City stay in neutral. John is very balanced with his opinion. Still, I respect it. RG, we was on the back foot from the starting lineup. Klopp flopped there. Fair enough. Foot again says we have never been in a title race. Squeaky bum time didn't really affect us in 2020 because we were so far ahead. I hope we can deal with the pressure. I still think it's a bit disingenuous to say that just going that far ahead isn't part of the race.
I was gonna say that's like saying Usain Bolt didn't have a race when he won the Olympic gold medal because he left the pack trailing.
Yeah,
like, he was just that damn good.
Like, I still remember that win at Leicester, the last-minute header from Mane against Aston Villa. Like, you've got to win these games to go ahead.
It was
like,
a title
I think it's
race,
very disingenuous.
We just lapped everyone.
Yeah, it's very disingenuous to discount the fact.
If you're talking about getting over the line in a close title race, then I'll agree with. But to say that that wasn't a title race, the others we just lapped. We just walked across the line because we were that much faster than everyone.
We had to go away to a World Club Championship, come back and get back in gear, and then win and keep I don't know. RG says, facts, Cal. Klopp got done by Arteta. No bad. I'm seeing a couple debut supers as well. Big up to all the debut supers. Says, seeing Gravenberch in the 11 against the top pressing team, Klopp is asking for trouble. I must admit, that was the only thing I hated about the starting lineup, seeing Gravenberch. I could say it now because I didn't want to be negative before. He was the one player where I was like, if there's a team you don't play Gravenberch against, it's probably Arsenal. But I was hoping he would prove me wrong, but in the end, he didn't. So no Nunes and no Salah exposed our lack of creativity. The XG was 1 today. That's why we lost. I'll say less than 1. not the VVD era. Nah, the VVD era is definitely why we lost, because we could have drawn the game without scoring another goal. So I agree to disagree on that one. But yeah, no Nunes and no Salah today did show that we miss a lot of whatever people don't like what either of those bring. Red Oxtail, do we have a midfield general who barks out orders, changes things, and leads by example? Mac definitely leads by example. I don't think we have one who barks orders, though. No,
we don't.
What we have either appear too timid. Nah, Jones ain't timid, and McAllister isn't timid. They're not timid. They're mute or lack experience, leadership skills. Remember, Endo is a captain for his country as well. So if Endo plays, then I think we have.
Doesn't mean he's a leader for us, though. Naby Keita was a captain for his country, and he absolutely was never a leader.
I think Endo shows leadership qualities when he plays, as in like he's leading from example and that kind of thing, though. Like if you follow his lead, then you won't get lost, if you get what I mean. I still think Endo, like that, he leads by example, I would say. Can you see it in any of our players? Yeah, McAllister's got the dog in him. He doesn't shout at people, but he does have the dog in him. I definitely think he leads by example. Endo leads by example, but he doesn't bark orders. We don't have, but here's the mad thing though. I was told, who cares about all that, when I used to say that was a quality that Henderson brought to the team. Everyone told me, who cares about all that?
Because you have to have the other side of it as well.
But until the season before he left, he did. But people used to say, I don't care if he shouts and all that. But I guess it works both ways. Hassan, we would have bigged up Nunes for what Martinelli did.
I said this.
We
absolutely would have. We absolutely would have.
Yeah, but we would have still clowned Saliba and Raya. Yeah, we would have not said it was more Nunes than their clown.
I never said it was more Nunes, but I was saying we can't not give credit to Martinelli.
Yeah, he gets about 30% credit for not giving up, but it was still 70% our fault.
You said there was like he didn't do anything. I said he did.
No, he didn't do anything that normal forwards were. All forwards follow the ball. Like, I'm a forward, you follow the ball. You've got to follow the ball. But the clownery was our fault. What happened? How that goal was scored didn't have nothing to do with Martinelli. It was all clownery from our end. But again, let's not go back into it. Foot again says, have to be fair. We have to take the smoke when we lose. Yeah. We take the smoke all the time. We bring the smoke when we win. It is what it is. I ain't hiding from the Arsenal fans blowing up my phone. Yeah. Don't hide from them. We ain't hiding. Cal answered the phone to Lee. It is what it is, man. I mean, even though they won today and fair play to them, they're acting like we didn't. Like, because I saw Lee laughing about the quad. Bro, we're still in the FA Cup, and who did we knock out for that? Like, have a little bit of self-awareness, bro. Like, who says we can't win a quad? Like, we're still in the competitions because we knocked you out. I wouldn't talk about the trophy side of things. Big up Jamie as always. Klopp picked the wrong side. It's as simple as that. And he goes on to say, I'm getting sick and tired of my centre-backs going one-on-one with the winger when Trent plays right back. If we don't tell people, there's not a problem. Oh, so if that doesn't tell people, there's not a problem. The thing is, we still have kind of Bradley going one-on-one. He's just better at one-on-ones. Because when Bradley was playing, he was still doing a lot of one-on-one defending.
No, but that's what Jamie's saying. We don't really see Trent in one-on-ones with the wingers. It's usually Konate or Matip.
Because he's inverting, isn't it?
To protect him.
Obviously. No, I also think it's the way we play, because when we play Bradley, he's a traditional right back. So he's always going to be in position, because technically, if he's out of position, it would have been he's made a mistake. A lot of the time, Trent's out of position in right back because he's doing something for the system. So even though he's got to do better, again, I agree. We can't always blame him for why he's out of position, because a lot of the time, it's because of the system. Because even today, Joey was out of position a lot. And I remember you saying it a lot. Why is Joey in midfield? So if they'd have broke down the left side, it wouldn't be because Joey's a crap defender. It would be because he's playing the system.
They're not always breaking down, but I don't know, man. I can't speak about Trent anymore, because whenever I speak about him, I get called a Trent hater and all this. But when you actually watch a 90-minute game, you'll see what I mean. Like, forget about this is why I'm asking people to just stop with stats for now. actually watch a game from minute 0 to minute 90 odd, and you'll see how many times a fullback will walk past Trent, and Trent won't make an effort because he knows there's a couple man behind him to bail him out, because his job isn't that anymore, because he wants to be a midfielder. But if I say these things, I get called a Trent hater. The guy doesn't want to play right back anymore. And I don't blame him. He's too good to be a right back now. But if our management can't see that when our fan base can, it baffles me. We've potentially got one of the best midfielders in the world in our team, and we're not playing him in midfield. It makes no sense to me.
I still think
it's like me saying I'm hungry and I've got food in the fridge and I go, oh, I just don't want to eat that though. We can't be that hungry then.
Like I said, he's been one of the best players in the league. So today is a good day to give him criticism, but we can't just lump a whole season worth of he's not good enough onto one game. But again, let's not go into that because we spent a lot of time on it before. Ty says Martinelli strolled past Trent when he is match fit. Yeah, he has got past him, but Martinelli does that to a lot of players. Let's not act like that's a Trent only issue. Vitu says Gravenberch process flow, receiving the ball, drop the shoulder, success. Yes, driving into space until he loses the ball. No drive, no. Dive and cry for a foul. I'm kind of confused what he's getting at. So is he basically saying that Gravenberch...
The flow should be receive the ball, drop the shoulder, and then see what the success is. And you're saying, yes, driving to space until he loses the ball, or no, dive and cry for a foul. His passing and shooting is poor. Defensive IQ, work rate is trash.
Okay, yeah, I get it now. No bad. With Trent, Klopp has accepted the trade-off that he may not be a well-beater defensively, but his attacking from right back justifies it. The reason we got dominated was because we played a poor midfield and there was no Nunes. I hear you on that one. Hassan, big up, bro. Zanetti moved to midfield. Save Ibu's legs, man. I hear that. John says, Drift, you are not reactionary. Respect. Now, big up yourself, John. I'm just trying to keep as level of a head as possible. Don't get twisted. I am livid. If anyone has learned anything by now, I am livid. But I'm not going to do the over the top thing. But I am livid. Trust me, I am livid. And the day I was having today already, I didn't need this. Trust me. Like, I'm not in a good mood. It's a good job I'm going to be in the house for the rest of the day. I'm not in a good mood. I would have probably got into it with someone. Light says, nah, Trent is lazy and he knows he will always play. I don't know if I would say he knows he'd always play now that Bradley's come through, but
he knows he'll always play. And I will stress, he's lazy defensively. He's not a lazy footballer. He's lazy defensively.
Yeah. Big up Bayesian says, Drift, you have to want to be switched on defensively. It's a mental thing, not just a natural thing. You want to play defense is a mentality. Yeah, I hear you on that. But again, I still think the weapon from right back works more than it doesn't. Guna Lee, so here's some tissue. Here's some tissue money for you, man. Dry those tears. I mean, you'll have experience of knowing how to do that against us, bro. So fill us in. Let us know. That's
Make sure you don't lose next week, Lee. Make sure you don't lose next week.
You know what I'm saying? Johnny 10 says this game felt like us versus Madrid in the first Champions League when we lost Salah. We looked a bit lost and toothless. To add, Luton was a bad draw. Yeah, it was definitely. You don't want to be drawing with Luton. You want to be winning. Jamrock, who we draw to matters. Some poor draws. We have had some poor draws. Here's the thing. I understand where people are coming from, as I stressed during the conversation we're having about it. It's just I don't understand why people... I mean, to be fair, there was quite a few people who did say they agreed with me. It's like But Jamak, are you hearing what I'm saying? Because it kind of seems like you don't want to hear what I'm saying because you just keep saying things to go against what I'm saying. I've said on numerous occasions, as Cal was saying, because he backs your point, I get what you lot are saying about the draws, but it seems like you're not trying to get what I'm saying. So, yeah. Nobad says, where the draws matter is against the small teams. You can always draw against the big teams in a title race. It happens. Whoever consistently beats the dross in the league will win the title. It's City's speciality.
That's my point right there in a super chat.
Light says City lose more games, but they don't draw. Again, like I said, it can go both ways.
It can't though, because the proof's there.
But if we'd have beat City the 2 times we played them, we would have won the league.
But we didn't. We drew. Like, this is what I keep
and we shouldn't. No, we lost one of them. We drew one and we lost one. The 2 title races we were in, they beat us and we drew one. We win one of those games, we win the league, Cal.
All right, check this one then, Drew.
I forget all what happened. We beat them, we win the league.
08-09, who won the league?
Man United.
Who won those head-to-head games? We beat them home. We beat them home and away.
Did we? I mean, let's be fair. We weren't really in a title race 08-09. We tried to make something of it at the end. Like, if you remember, going into the Old Trafford game, I think we're still like 8 points behind them or something like that.
Bruv,
when Torres destroyed them that time, we put pressure on them, but we were never truly in a title race that year.
We beat them home and away. We took 6 points off them and they won the league. We only lost 2 games that season. They lost 2 games just to us and won it. The draws are the reason we don't win leagues. It's never been losses for us.
Look,
the team that we finished second
I understand
to,
the logic. I understand the logic.
We finished second to have what they lose more than us in a season.
Again,
factually, every single time.
I understand again the logic, but if we'd have beat City instead of drawing at Anfield, or if we hadn't lost at the Etihad in the 2 races we've had recently, we win the league. It goes both ways. It goes both ways. Foot says, we beat Man United. Oh, is this basically what you was just saying, isn't it? Okay, so yeah, literally saying the same thing. And I understand where you lot are coming from.
11 games, bro. We drew 11 games.
I hear that. I mean, Arsenal drew 12 games a year. They went unbeaten. That's a lot of draws, isn't it? Yeah,
but how many?
They still won the league.
But one anomaly.
No, I'm just saying. John, explain why we didn't win the league in 08-09 and we won against the big. Here's the thing, guys. We weren't really in a title race. We just pushed Man United as far as we could. If we're being honest with ourselves, we weren't really in a title race that year. Do you really believe Cal was in a title race that year? Because Man United were pretty much in the ascendancy from January all the way to the end.
And we almost matched them, bro.
Didn't we end up losing the league by 4 or 5 points as well? It wasn't even like it was 1 point in the end. Now we're about 4 or 5 points off them by the end. 4 points is
still a title race, bro.
No, but what I'm saying is we never had like the ascendancy in that race, if you get what I mean. Like there was never a point where...
But we were smashing them. We were smashing Aston Villa, Newcastle. Brother, in January, we were top of the league. Everyone was like, right, this is Liverpool going to do it now. We're in a title race, bro.
I remember us falling away very quickly in that season.
How can
up till Christmas, I think we were in it, but after that, we fell away very quickly
because we had some draws, bro. But we were always in it. We were always the only team that could be like, yeah, we could win this. We were in a title race, bro.
Look, at the end of the day, I understand the thing about the draws, but what the real issue is that we didn't win the game, which is what I think people just keep on using the word draw. The problem is we didn't win it. Losing or drawing are both the same. We didn't win it. You're supposed to be a 3-point collector. So really and truthfully, we're arguing here about the semantics and this and that about draws and losses. But really, you're just supposed to win it. And if you don't win it, everything else is a fuck up, really, right? Whether you lose to Luton or draw to Luton, whether you lose to Brighton or you draw to Brighton, whatever the accumulation is in the hindsight later down the line, you didn't get 3 points. At the end of the day, not winning is the issue, not a draw or a loss. It's not winning. That's the problem, really. But what's the next one? Ty says, we beat United at home and everybody's doing the same thing. Not even to be disrespectful to the Supers, but I can't just keep reading that the same thing. But big up everyone. Everyone's basically going on the same rhetoric of the 0809 thing. Did you see the Supers why you said that, Cal? Or was you just because it's like every Supers about the 0809? I think that's probably the only season where you truly look at it and remember it was about the draws. I think a lot of the other seasons you can look at and it's about not beating the team in the title race with.
Not if 18-19, we drew. I think it was a spell where we drew West Ham away, Leicester City at home, and then Everton away. But like, bruv, it's the draws that have been killing us. Bruv, losing a game to City and Arsenal hurts emotionally, but from a logical standpoint, it's the draws against the lesser teams that really do us in, bro.
No, I hear that. But how perfect do you want someone to be? So let's have an example. 18-19, I get it. We did have 7 draws. And you've got to try and not draw these games. I understand it. We got 97 points. Do you know, other than the Centurions, it's the highest points accumulation. And obviously them who won it. It's the highest points accumulation in Premier League history. How perfect do you want the team to be? So I get the rhetoric. Them draws cost us when you look at it on paper. But if we just got the second highest points total ever accumulated in Premier League history and the highest points total ever accumulated by a team finishing second, I get it. But how perfect do you want the team to be?
But no one's saying you have to be perfect, Drift. You're saying we're losing leagues because we don't beat Man City. I'm saying that's not factually true. I'm saying we're losing leagues because we're drawing too many games.
Or a lot of these big teams, like, for example, not beating Arsenal at all this season. Like, we haven't beat Arsenal this season.
But I'm saying in the season we went up against Man United, we beat them twice and still lost because we had too many draws. 18-19, we drew one and lost one to City, but we lost because of too many draws. Like, the season where we changed the squad. So
we've lost Cal. Look, I understand where you lot are coming from, but like I said, man, it can swing both ways. Darth Callum says 2 seasons in and Gakpo still hasn't solidified his position. We move so comfortably with a pivot. It is mad different. Hold on, let me remove him because that's looking real mad. 1892 Reds says, let's not panic. There is still a long way to go. There definitely is. Big up Foot today with a lot of supers. Big up yourself, bro. That's what I meant. Not knocking our Prem win, but because we battered it up so much, we didn't have that every game is vital. Okay, I get that. No. We did up until a point, Foot, is what I would say. I would say up until about January, February, it had that every game matters feeling. And then I'll say from February onwards is when it was like, okay, no, we kind of have this in the bag a bit here. Okay, cool. So I agree with you. But I would say that first stretch up until we went to the Club World Cup and then when we just came back, I think that definitely did have that we've got to win every game feeling. It did. I remember the emotion when Sadio got that winning goal against Villa. I remember the penalty against Leicester. There was a lot of times during that game, during that season in that first half. But I agree with you in the running, we were just plain sailing. Yeah, I agree with that. But we had to earn the right to be there. Big up Jamie again. Says, Gravenberch, Trent and Gakpo on the right side is awful. Facts, that's why I was saying it was a terrible right side today. That's on Klopp. There seemed to be a bit of arrogance about us with that team. I wouldn't say that. You've got to play the players you have. Like, we can't be angry at him playing players that he believes in. Did it work out? No, it didn't. But I wouldn't call it arrogance. Like, Klopp believes in these guys, and in other games they've done well. So, Jamie, I don't know if I'd call it arrogance, bro. Like, playing players is playing players. A lot of people, and here's the crazy thing, Carl, I don't know if you agree with me. This is why sometimes I say, like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. We've sat here on this channel, and even you and me have kind of argued a bit about this. Everybody's like, Harvey Elliott can't start games. He's not good enough. He's just an impact sub. I've heard that unanimously throughout the fan base. There's some people who disagree and agreed with me, but unanimously during that argument, he's not good enough to start. He's just a good impact player. If he'd have started today and had a bad game, everybody would have flipped it and said, but we all know Elliot ain't good enough to start. Why did he start Elliot? Do you get what I mean? There's so much of this revisionism that people love to do afterwards. And that's what I'm saying. People just always look for a reason to have their narrative ran. And I'm not even taking shots at Jamie. I'm just saying in general, I see it all the time. Nunes is shit. He's not good enough. Now I'm hearing people say, we look toothless today because Nunes was there. Nunes, cause it's like people will set the bar based on what they want their narrative to be in that move. It looked terrible today. It did. It did look terrible today. Remember, Cal, I said it. The right side was horrible today. It was just a lazy, weird,
if I'm not mistaken,
non-pressing, weak right side today. But
so none of us would have started Grav. We would have started Szoboszlai, but it seemed as though something happened very late in the day.
No, he had a knock, apparently. It was nothing to do with tactical. Szoboszlai had a knock, apparently, or something.
Shall I be real with you, Drift? And I'm not saying this in hindsight. I'm saying this because of form and what I've seen recently. There is absolutely nothing to me today that should have suggested to the management, apart from favoritism potentially, that Gravenberch should have started over Elliot.
And I agree with you.
There's nothing. So I think that's the issue. I don't think because Szoboszlai went out injured, I think very few in the fan base, even those who say they don't really rate Harvey from starting games, would turn around and be like, Klopp was wrong for starting Elliot ahead of Gravenberch because Gravenberch has been stinking up the place recently.
But they're only saying that before, though. They would have said that before, Cal. But if he'd have had the same game Grav had, everybody would have said, we all know he's not good from the start. Why was he playing from the start? So it is like a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario. Do you get what I'm saying?
I think that only occurs if Szoboszlai's available. With Gravenberch, I don't think there would have been that argument. Because if
Gravenberch had a good game, then nobody would have cared. It's only because he had a bad game why people say Elliot should have started.
But him having a bad game, again, I might be talking out of turn. Him having a bad game wasn't necessarily a surprise to me today. When was the last time he had a good game?
I'm trying to remember what his last couple of performances actually were, because they were all from the sub bench. I don't remember the last time Gravenberch started a game. What was the last game Gravenberch started?
He started against Norwich, didn't he?
I can't remember, did he?
And even in that game, we didn't think he had a good game. Like, I couldn't tell you the last time he had a good game.
Like I said, people do hate, love. I mean, is anybody going to say Nunes shouldn't play the next game now after all I've been hearing he ain't good enough? I don't know, man. Sometimes he can't.
On the Nunes, I don't think they think he's a good enough finisher, Drew. And I don't think there's a really I think that's a fair thing to say from people, whether you agree or disagree.
I get the finishing thing. If you check the comments after every game, it's just he's not good enough. Nunes ain't good enough. Nunes is going to cost us the league. Nunes isn't good enough.
I go through the comments. It's literally split down the middle, bro. There are people who say, but I've seen people say Nunes is crap, and bro, there will be 6-7 replies saying, give your head a wobble, or you're crazy, look how effective he is. But it's literally 50-50. I don't get where you see that it's only Nunes hate and no Nunes love. I can literally bring out receipts, bro. I go through all the comments on all of our videos.
No, I'm talking about the live comments. In the live comments, it's 60-40 of Nunes isn't good enough.
Bro.
It's not, bro. But again, let's not.
So
do I, bro. I see it, bro. Bro, before we start, yeah, even if we've won a game, I will look in the comments before we started, and it will already be Nunes ain't good enough because Aki missed the chance. Literally, we haven't even started the show yet, and I'm like, we won the game. Why are you on Nunes? But anyway, just give me one sec, bro. If you keep doing the supers, give me one sec, bro.
Yeah. Ash says, bad day at the office. I think Burnley are going to get it today. Should make the group angry / motivated. Should have almost everyone back for Burnley. 15 filings. I truly believe we get over the line. You'll never walk alone. Be yourself, Ash. I hope so. Hassan says, Hedo was always a shadow to Trent's light. Not always. A lot, though. But again, Trent wasn't really inverting at that time. So it's a very different system we were playing then. Trent was getting further forward and Hendo was covering, but Genie was also doing that for Robbo. It's just that it didn't look as evident with Genie because Robbo was better defensively. Curtis Jackson says Klopp picked the wrong game to switch it up. No clue why Darwin was taken out for Gakpo. We have proven we can go on winning runs. We march on. So I'm going to give Klopp the benefit of the doubt here because I believe Nunes had a slight injury the other day. So maybe he thought he didn't want to start him, wanted to bring him on. That's the only thing I can think of. If it wasn't that, then yeah, he's crazy. Jamrock says Trent shouldn't be rewarded. Redder for poor defending. Yeah, I agree with that. Hate says you're bang on about Trent Cal, but Trent essentially ran the same fixture in the cup. In hindsight, he wasn't match fit and his attitude was shocking. Yeah, that's very true. BC says the deficiencies that you point out with some players is something a new manager coming in will have to look at and consider going forward. We'll see. Very true. Very true. It'll be interesting to see who we get in and who is the players that the manager maybe thinks isn't good enough for the squad. Beja Res TV says, Drift, I hear what you're saying. However, the weaker teams you shouldn't draw to. It hurt us for 3 titles to City. Yeah, that's my point on it. John says, if we won today, Arsenal match at Etihad means zip. But if we had if we had beat Luton and let's say, for argument's sake, beat Brighton, then losing today, we're still however many points ahead. So again, John, like, I get your sentiment, but like this, I don't know how many times I can explain it. Like, I hate losing. Losing is a horrible feeling emotionally, but when you're drawing more than you're losing, it hurts more because logically at the end you don't get anything for it. Arsenal didn't lose in their invincible season. They had 12 draws and 26 wins. Man City lost in the Centurion season. They got over 100 points and broke the record. Like, I don't know how many more times I can explain it. DJ Brain says, to win the league, we can only lose 5 and draw 6, the most in this era based on stats. We needed this wake-up call. We are getting too comfortable. Well, we've already drawn 6. Light Vibe says 1 win equals 3 draws. Let's rather lose games and draw 6.
You're not
Hate
guaranteed
says
to win the games. That's what I keep saying. You're not guaranteed to win the other games. So it's easy to do a paper draw and go draw that game and then win that game. Yeah, all of that is easy.
No, but we're not saying to go into it.
You're not guaranteed to win a game. So
no, but you never go into a game planning to lose or draw. You're always going planning to win. This is strictly a hindsight conversation. You can't.
I know, but people are acting like it's factual to go, I'd rather lose 2 and win 1 than draw. It's like, but everybody would. But it don't work like that, though, does it?
No, but we're not saying it works like that. But we're saying that's what we'd prefer. No one's saying that's how it works. Of course, it can't work like that. We can't predict games.
Exactly, and that's exactly my point. So when we're in the middle of a game fighting for a draw that people then turn around and say is a bad result, it isn't a bad result until you get all of the evidence collected at the end. While you've collected that point rather than a loss, it's a good point. It only becomes a bad point with hindsight, and hindsight is a bitch. Everybody knows that. Like,
I can't think of a draw we've had this season off the top of my head. I'm not saying it hasn't happened, where I come out of it going, maybe the Etihad game, where I come out of it going, that wasn't a bad point at all. But the Luton point, I felt disgusted with. The Chelsea point, I felt
disgusted because we didn't win. Your disgust was you wanted 3 points. The draw or the loss is neither here nor there. You wanted the 3 points. So all of this, fuck the draws. I'd rather lose this and da-da-da. It's weird. I don't get it. We want the win. We want a win. The problem with Luton is we didn't win. The problem with Brighton is we didn't win. The problem with today is we didn't win. The problem with the Etihad is we didn't win. It isn't whether it was a draw or a loss, because today, nobody sit here and tell me that at 2-1, you didn't want us to equalise. No one say to me, let's lose this game, because I tell you what, it's better to lose this and win the next 2 than draw this one and then draw the next one. Like, it's way too much revisionism.
You're missing the point.
No, I get the point, bro. I think everyone's missing my point. It's too much revisionism. Against Luton, we went mad when Diaz got that equaliser. At the end, we were livid when we're assessing it overall, and we're like,
we went mad for Diaz because of the situation he was in.
No, bro, we went mad because he saved the game as well, bro. He rescued a point. We did not lose the game.
We'll agree to disagree, man. Hate says general rule for me is beat the bottom 5 home and away. Beat little rivals at home and don't lose away. Only way to win now is if we pack City at home.
Boy, there's a lot of football to be played before we even play City. You know, it's crazy. So yeah.
Jamrock says, "Cal, we drew 4 out of 8 in that stretch after City lost." I know. Ads LFC says Gunnar Lee said that Klopp is not good enough. I mean, that's his opinion. Hot tight him. Michael Anderson says, hate to quote him. Fergie says, win your home match and get a point away to your rivals.
Yeah, very, very, very true, which we haven't done, Michael. That's the problem. We haven't beat Arsenal at home and got a point away. And let's see whether we do beat City at home, because we did get a point away. So, yeah, very good. Very true points there.
John Williams says, we need perfection. How unfair is that? No, we don't need perfection. Perfection's winning every single game. Man City and no other team in the history of the league have won every single game. So we're not asking for perfection, but we're saying there's tweaks to be made. If it's not perfect, you can improve, right? DJ Brain says, when was the last time we had a bad game? I can't remember off the top of my head.
We've been immaculate we were immaculate in January. It's like, what a madness. We turn into February and then we lose. January was immaculate. We were brilliant in January.
Yeah, every game. The only period of a game we had was the Fulham game in the last 20 minutes or so, where we were like, what the hell's going on? Apart from that, or is it maybe in the last 10 minutes of that game?
Or the first 25 minutes against Arsenal in the cup game. We were poor.
Again, I can't speak on that one because I didn't watch it.
Yeah. First 25 minutes of the cup game, we were poor. But then, yeah, we're good for the rest of the game.
Yeah. Well, people, we're going to wrap up there. One of them games, unfortunately, against a team that it shouldn't have come against. But now it's on the players to go and rectify this and go and prove that they're still in about it and can get us over the line. It's on the players now. It is still in their hands. Maybe not as much as it was at the beginning of today, but it still is. So I'll go and see what we make of it now.
No, I disagree, but let's just try and rally up now. We've got to try and rally up. If City drop a point before we play them, then I'll say, and we got to win them all. So I don't know. We still got to go to Old Trafford as well, which I think people are underestimating a bit.
Oh no, I'm not underestimating that.
Because a lot of people are saying that City's the only hard game remaining. It's like, nah, it's not.
But the reason they say it's in our hands, Drift, is because if we win all of our games, we win it. So it is in our hands.
I hear that.
It's like logically, literally, factually, it's in our hands. But we also know that's not how football is. But it's in our hands.
I said, on the flip side, it's more in City's hands. Because mathematically, they're ahead of us if they win.
Yeah.
So it's more in their hands. So technically, they're in the driver's seat. That's the only point.
You'd say it's in both our hands. Like, for me, it's a 50-50. Like, bruv, shout out to Daps. Spoke to Daps the other day when we were doing the preview. Bruv, he even said it. He's like, I'm not one of these City fans that doesn't respect or fear Anfield. Like, bruv, the Anfield thing over City is no joke. Like,
I know, but they've still got quite a few draws, and a draw helps them and doesn't help us. So that's what the problem is. You know what I mean?
No, very true.
Plus, they've got over there hoodoo of the Tottenham Stadium, which was a bigger hoodoo than Anfield, to be fair.
It wasn't really a Tottenham hoodoo. It was more of a Harry Kane hoodoo. As soon as he went,
but they hadn't even scored a goal at the Tottenham Stadium in like 4 seasons, bro. And they've managed to get past that. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just saying, it's scary hours.
Indeed. Well, people, if you haven't already, do smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Not the greatest day for us today, but we'll see what happens, and we'll chop up more on Monday, no doubt, when there's some more fallout from today's game. We go again, we move, all those buzzwords and phrases, but I want this league, and I hope the players feel the same way. Light Vibe says this feels like the Spurs game during the quad season. It feels worse than that.
Oh, yeah, this is way worse because that game was a draw. even though that was only about 4 games from the end of the season. So I get what he means, because like literally win that game and then it would have been in our hands. So I get what he means.
It was way worse today because I feel as though that Spurs game we were unlucky, whereas today we were just crap.
I think he means the result more than the performance.
No, I'm talking about all of it, like all of it. We were just crap today. We weren't crap in that Spurs game. We were unlucky.
I was also annoyed. I know this is really dumb, stupid superstition, but I was really annoyed when we was in the purple kit, because I was just thinking, what's the chances of beating them twice in the same like month or whatever in the same kit? Like, put on the green and white one today, man. Like, why do we wear the purple one today?
I hear it. People, thank you all for watching and listening. We will see you tomorrow. Have a good rest of the day wherever you are. Stay safe, stay blessed. We're Kopish for our people. Take care.
Peace.